in case you didn't hear it. They were the first and original. A very blessed day, everyone. Greetings to you in the name of the Father, the Creator, the Most High, Allah, Yah, Yod Het Vahu Het, Elohim, God in our modern day name, and in the name of the Lord Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. This is Neophyte DAG bringing you another message. King George II of England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Germany, and the ruddy people, kings, queens, and leaders in Europe and North America were black. And in this message, we always start with Job 9, verse 24, which tells us the earth, which is America, will be given and put into the hands of the wicked, and the wicked, which are the red Esau and the red. Blessed day, everyone. Greetings to you in the name of the Father, the Creator, Allah, Yah, Yod He, Vahu He, Elohim, God in our modern day term, and to the Son, our Lord, Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. This is Neophyte DAG bringing you another message in breaking the spells to another United States. Message showing Pennsylvania in the United States. Those were the colony at that time. Is Charles I of middle stature, his complexion brown. Second proof we did in the previous message came from King Charles I, a study by Walter Phelps Dodge, page 28, Charles, his dark coloring. Third proof I presented in the previous message, King Charles by Pansy Pakenham, page 142 of that book. Harrington, a person who is describing Charles, put him in a poem format. As I was going by Charing Cross, I saw a black rider on a black horse. They told me it was King Charles I. So these three witnesses, three proof, these three receipts that I provided in a previous message for Charles I clearly prove that he was a person of color. He was black. Same for Charles II, mother, Henrietta Marie of France. Royal Martyr by Charles Wheeler Coit, page 43 of that book. Princess Henrietta Marie. The princess, born in 1609, was then in her 14th year, dark of complexion. She's dark complexion, a black person in our modern day term. Another proof in this book, Trial of King Charles I, by J.G. Muddiman, page 8 of that book. Howell, who had seen the Queen Henrietta Marie, lasting complexion, dark brown. Henrietta. dark brown complexion, person of color, she's a black woman. Now we jump into Charles I. His mother is black, father is black, mother and father are people of color. It goes without saying that the son has to be a person of color, a black person, but I'm going to give you proofs that are out there in writings because your history, our history of people of color, are buried in various vaults, libraries, and archives, and you have to dig deeper beyond Wikipedia, beyond the images that Google is giving you, because the images are going to be lie and the narratives are going to be lie. You have to go deeper into your studying. First book we'll look at Charles II, King of England, Scotland, and Ireland by Ronald Hutton. Page 2 of that book, it says, Charles, nobody, however, called him handsome. He wasn't a handsome person. His mother described him as downright ugly and marred. In addition, by a swarthy complexion. His great height, robust constitution, and dark, full-fleshed face. So in telling you what swarthy means, it's a dark skin complexion. Good day, everyone. Neophyte DAG bringing you another message. And this message, we're going to cover Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States of America, and the fact that he was black. Yes, Abraham Lincoln was black. And we'll get to the root of it. We're going to go into detail on this one, so bear with me and stay focused. And as always with this series, it's Job 9 verse 24, where it warns us that the wicked and the ungodly, whoever is covering up the faces now, will cover up faces of dark-skinned people who are very important in the history of you. A lot of different factors. So don't hold on to the one factor. We're going to go to this book. It's called The Life of Abraham Lincoln. It's written by Clifton M. Before he's dark complexion, now he's being called a poor white. What is going on? I'm sure there's complex about white classification, black classification at the time that Abraham Lincoln, page 12 and page 13. Let's start down below on page. Pull from this time what's happened before going classification to that were transcoded. There were many. To get the white classification was to be from Europe. White, dark. Modern day time, these are black people, because when the rule changed in 1924, these same people would have now become black. Because I want to make sure that you understand this white category is just a classification of your social status. It's not your complexion back in the time of Abraham Lincoln. We're going to look at the Vermont Phoenix newspaper in April 4th, 1857. And this is an example of a white man, person classified as white, but has dark complexion and is sold as a Negro slave. This was an ad taken out for someone who was a white man sold into slavery. And let's read some portions of the ad. The name of the individual is Barnard. He's son of an immigrant who was Dutch. So it's a Dutch. His father was Dutch. So now he traces ancestry to being a Dutch from Netherlands. Barnard is an excellent violinist. He plays the violin very well. And then he accompanied some actors as a musician, and they went into Maryland and Virginia. He was rather dark complexion. So when you see rather, meaning it's very dark complexion. And his companion representing him to be a Negro. So if you're a white man, how can you be of a rather dark complexion and be presented as a Negro? Again, if you have to go back to the time, at this time, just to be a white man, you had to be from Europe, regardless of your skin color, because Barnard was rather dark complexion. He's very black. He's so black, he could pass off as a Negro. In our modern day time, these two people are the same. They merged them by changing the law in 1924, the Racial Integrity Act. Barnard would not be considered a white man at this time. He would be a black man. But at that point in time, based on the law, he was a white man because he was from Europe. So I hope I've settled this issue about white and black and the timing.
I was questioning his assertion that white meant social status. I mean, he provides a lot of evidence, so I was considering it, but that was one of the things where I was I might need more evidence, you know what I'm saying? But this definitely takes the cake right here. Saying a white man sold in slavery But then later on, it tells you he's dark. He was of a rather dark complexion, and his companions presenting him to be a Negro. So that's another example of dark complexion being presented as a Negro. So we'll see. We have to see how these motherfuckers make good of this. Because even if they want to say he was white and he looked like a Negro, or he was whatever the fuck they want to say, if he was mixed and yada yada, back then you would think, according to narrative, right, that they had racial classifications that still they wouldn't call him white. You know what I mean? Quote unquote one drop rule and all that bullshit. Remember, we know there's a whole different time, but still, you get the point.
Anything before 1924, you see white men, don't trust it for being a Caucasian only person. Not a chance. Everyone, whether Caucasian, whether Indian, whether this or that, if you're from Europe, you were white, regardless of your complexion, your hair texture, whatever, you were white. Only after 1924, you can only be white if you're Caucasian. All right. So Abraham Lincoln's father was regarded as a poor white, but he's still a black man in our modern day time. Let's move.
Maybe that's what he's asserting, because I've heard a lot of times they say, "Oh, there's no such thing as a right white race," but that's when they claims whites to be pure and it's white versus black, and that's when. Okay.
Forward. We're going to jump on Abraham Lincoln's mother, Nancy Hank. We're going to go back to this book, The Life of Abraham Lincoln, and it's in the Library of Congress. So what I'm telling you is nothing new to those who are in power. They know this information. And we're going to also cover his wife, Mary Todd, in the same book. Let's start with Nancy. On page 14 of this book, it says Nancy Hanks. She was of brunette with dark hair. So we know the brunette is not talking about her hair. They said her hair is dark. So her brunette, she was a brunette. She was brunette complexion. Same thing for Mary Todd. In chapter 12, it talks about Mary Todd. Her hair, abundant and dark brown in color, she was a brunette. So it tells you again, her hair made a specific color for her hair.
Okay, so Philip II. That's Charles V's son, straight up. So dealing with King Philip II, because that's really where I want to go with the shit, being in San Antonio and touching that base. Let me cut my camera on. I should cut the camera on. Why not? Oh shit. Yeah, as I was saying, being in San Antonio, you know what I'm saying? You have all these Spaniards, I'm tapping into that base, so yeah, I'm gonna get with King Philip, because he was one of the Spanish I found. I don't know, I just take a liking to him because I did a breakdown on who he was on my Instagram at one point, and thought it was interesting. Oh, I know why I think it was interesting, because his appearance, him being a mulatto, most people wouldn't be able to tell he was black until it was brought to their attention. And I just think it's kind of interesting. I don't know what other word I want to use for interesting, but it's amusing and alluring, because there's so many ways to describe his appearance. It's like one of the toughest things to explain, but once you explain it, it's like, oh shit, it's right in front of your face. Because we have blacks now, like the average person will say, oh, he doesn't look black, and that's the whole point of, I think, yeah, that's where we're going with it. That's the whole idea of their, black not being a race, and your race not being tied to necessarily your phenotypical appearance or your genetic your traits. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the overall goal is. This is trait theory and race. So even the idea of ready, he'll prove the idea of ready too, because here's the thing, right? He's ready. He's clearly light skinned, clearly mulatto, right? We look up Philip II, right? And let's just find this is the whitenized version of him. You know what I'm saying? We'll look into these painters and stuff like that to see if these are even the real painters, because these are people that were around at this time, but it's so whitenized that it doesn't make sense. And when I say whitenized, we know it's whitenized because these guys, they don't match the physical description. We know what these people look like. Let's just say that. See, he's a slight stature, round face with pale blue eyes, somewhat prominent lip. So like me, a protagonism, right? A little underbite. Pink skin. So even if they say he has pink skin, right? Describe. See, they only want to put what they want to put, because watch this. Let's see if we can find the real King Philip. the difference in all these different pics, right? We need to find the real King Philip. A second. We're not even gonna try to do that now. But I haven't seen the real him yet. Because I have a picture of the real him. And this is, oh, here we go. There we go. Look at this statue. Right? And we'll get into, oh, if he quote unquote, right? If he quote unquote looks black or not, we'll get into that. That's what we'll get into. King Philip. I'm saying, why can't you find this anywhere? Where's the coins? So you got this pic. Look at this, right? This is a bust of him. So this is how we know what the fuck he looked like, right? Right? So how do you get this and this? Hold on. No, you got this. These. King Philip II. So this is what he looked like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's him when he's older, who knows? I would presume. I don't know if that's even real or not. So you got this, right? How do you get that? And some of the ones we're seeing, you know, how the fuck do you get this? Or this, like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you get that from what we've seen? Like, that makes no fucking sense. But, you know, if you keep looking, you eventually find what you're looking for. That's a whole different King Philip. Not to be conflated. You know, at times, you know, even myself, you know, I especially, I conflate these people. But there goes the coins of Philip II. I'm going to use that as an example. You see, they'll do certain things like the nose and the hair, you know what I mean? It's all good because we already know what the hell this dude looked like, right? So it's clear that that's what he looked like, you know what I'm saying? But it's okay. Why am I saying that it's okay? Because we know what the man's mother and father look like. to find the real shit. That's a Macedon. Damn. Get into it. We're gonna add this too. Shit. Fuck. Got this shit fucked up. That's not the same one. That's the one in Macedon. Study them later. We get into them. We gonna get to them later. So don't worry, Macedonians. We get into y'all niggas too, cause everybody who played a great role in the founding of modern times and just history, all going to be touched on. So we saw what the bust looked like. So how do we get this bust or these bust and get something like this? Like, this is ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. This is a little closer. But this one is the closest I'm seeing right here. Hey, if y'all think that's the same person as this, then hey, I'm tripping. This is one thing, you know, they can fake these, but you know, these things right here, they tell it all. This is clearly not real right here. Like, if we were to break things down, like, these people are supposed to be artists, right? So things are supposed to be accurate. This is a physical person, right? Like, you can't do a sculpture of me and have it look like a whole nother nigga. This destroys the point. You know, like, it's major differences, right? If we was just to put, like, just look at this shit full size. Yo. These people pissing me off. Nah, hell no, not PayPal. It might be the same people that run PayPal, but the same people that motherfucking got this fake picture of King Philip. Why is that funny?
Nothing. I thought that shit had to do with some like LLC or some shit.
Oh, we do. Trust me. Cause
Nah, I'm still mad at you.
you're not mad. You mad at me?
Yep.
Shut. You gotta get over that, bro. Pride. You got too much fucking pride. I'm like no prideful bitch. Right. And that's your fucking
I
problem.
don't either.
If your man tell you what the fuck he like, that's why you gonna be with a lame ass fucking dude.
Now you call my man. Okay.
Shut the fuck up. So look at this shit, right? If we were just the, you know, you got the widow's peak, you got the hair tight, the nose sinking into the cheeks, the low jawline, high cheekbones, low cheeks though, right? The chin, the jaw, and then what the fuck is this? Nothing. The cheekbones are not right. Nothing's right on this. Who the hell is this? Who the fuck? saying that's Philip the Third. Okay. Which is fucking not, but okay. That makes a lot more sense because I was about to say. Anyways, let's go back to this. And really, let's not even go to that. Let's go to this. This is the closest thing that I've seen that looks like what he was described as. Right? But look at the inaccuracy of this. Hooked nose, different cheekbones. You know, this is just if we want to get into things. Different hairline, different brow. Like, who the fuck is... We're going to hold these people accountable too in my shit. You know what I'm saying? Because who even thought to do some shit like this? Who thought they was going to get away with this? Like I said, this is close, but it's clearly white in eyes. You know what I mean? This makes him look like Rory or some shit. But this dude, this looks nothing like this. I'm gonna make a connection when I do the series. Huh? I mean, you could tell, yeah. Like, come on. This is fucking night and day. Come on, bro. This is clearly a black man right here. But, you know what I'm saying? People got their opinions and this and that, the third. Like, oh, you know, I guess the question would be, how do we know that this dude is a black man? Well, nigga, we know for a fact his dad is black. How about that? This is my favorite person to do because if you look at him, right, I know he's a black man. But do you know he's a black man? It's the trickiest one. It's a trick if you want it to be a trick. Because, I mean, you got guys like Stephen Curry. You got all kind of guys that are mixed or mulatto. And we know them to be black, right? Just because he's lighter skinned. But let's prove, or let's not even say let's prove. Let's show the proof, right? Let's show evidence that his father may have been black, because we don't know what none of these people look like, right? Because we weren't there. We don't have photographs. We don't have video evidence, right? So why am I saying that? Where am I getting this from? Where the fuck are they getting this from? And then once we really get past proving who these people are, we're going to dive into the narratives, because he has a good story though, man, because they claim he was an effective leader, and this is ridiculous how they reconstruct this type of stuff. But that's not Philip. That's a whole different Philip II. I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, you see his coins, man. You see the man's skull. This man got a black man's skull, bro. Stop playing, bro. Like, quit fucking playing. We gonna add all these coins too. What? We don't have to do all that arguing and getting mad because we know what the man looked like. I mean, we know what the man's dad looked like. And we know what he looked like too. Let me stop playing. But, you know, when we present this information, we gotta be objective and say, oh, you know, allegedly, you know, and this, you know, we're gonna be objective and say, we're not gonna say we know what the man like. We're gonna say we have evidence. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to put a slant on anything. So we know for a fact this is fake, right? Because this is supposed to be Charles V. which is crazy because he's like a white version of the real Charles V. What do you mean by white version of the Charles V? You know what I'm saying? Let me show you. Let me show you how we rock. Let's go get Charles V, right? Right? This is definitely not. Let's look at what they say Charles V is. I can't even look at this. Charles V his damn self. Look, this says was Charles V very ugly. Man, what? I hate this site. Somebody post them and say, yo, they just straight up got to it and say, yo, this is Charles V. Apparently not. This is not him. This is, look, they're gonna post this and say, nah, this is him. Nah, we don't like this site. This is just where people argue. Have you ever seen that fucking site? Okay, so how do we know that those aren't depicted? This is not him. This is not him. This is not him. Picture wise, well, let's just look up Charles V, Lima, Peru, right? Let's just do the damn thing. So if you look here, right, they try to make a whitenized version of him, right? But guess what? They got a whole fake version, right? But it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Because they can't hide the real things, man. It's in the Larco Museum. The list of the Inca kings. But look, they're not trying to show it, so it's okay. Things to do in Lima, Peru. I know. Let's go to the Larco Museum. Oh, why when you look this up will it not come up? When we know that it's in there. We know that it's in there. So I just want to show this at how hard this shit is to find. Oh, this is so fake. It's okay. I wanna see how hard it is to find the real thing. The Larco Museum. I remember when I first found this, I was like, holy shit. Fuck that. Where's the official site since they want to be crazy? Yep. So we know it's in there. Why are they not showing us this? Uh-oh, they must got hip. They must got hip. We know it's there because they say it's there, room 6. Nah. It's okay. Is this the real one? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Look, somebody says Inca Kings. So we're going to have to mark that because this used to didn't be so hard to find. Somebody took a pic of it, they damn self. And so let's look if we zoom in, right? If we zoom in, No, 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 no. Oh, somebody zoomed in. Carlos Quinto. For y'all, for people like me who have bad eyesight, it may be looking a little distant, a little hard to believe, right? I don't know. I can't tell. Carlos Quinto. Charles the Fifth, right? This is clearly a so-called Negro. We already know. We already know he was a Negro, but whole nother topic for a whole nother day, right? How do we know? Oh, that's a black dude. How do we know? How do we know? Is it not just darkened? Is it not just darkened? No, that's clearly a white dude right here. Clearly, some fucking white dudes up here. You know, Charles the Fifth. Hold on, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Isn't Philip II the son of Charles the Fifth? Right? Hold on, isn't he? Philip II of Spain, of course. Tells you where. The father of Charles the First. We know Charles the First was black. So that's got to be his grandfather. But Philip II. Let's see who his father was. He was from the House of Habsburg, right? Right, Habsburg dynasty, right? House of Austria. You see the royal lion. Symbolism. Who was his father? Charles the Fifth. How is this Charles the Fifth? Right? How the fuck was that Charles the Fifth? If this is Charles the Fifth, this fucking black dude with the crown and the scepter. Excuse me. Pardon me. We have to get that out the way because we got to understand what does this say, right? Let's zoom in. Oh, don't let me zoom in no more. Can we see this right here? This shit says Felipe Segundo. Felipe Segundo. The third, Felipe the third, Felipe the fourth, Carlos the second, Charles the second, Felipe the fifth. You know, they're starting to get a little bit lighter, you know what I'm saying? Because they were a little bit lighter. Charles the third, Charles the fourth, back black, like dark skin. But you can see Philip II is black. Why would they depict these dudes as black men? But there's a clear difference right here between these guys. And then look, you even, come on, man, you see. And you see what the Incas look like. The Incas the same color as Charles V. So you think they wouldn't have known that their ruler was black? And come on, bro. We're not buying that shit. So that's visual historical paintings that show Charles V as black, Philip II is black, right? So we know that that dude is not Charles V that they showed us. That's if it's anything we know, that's one thing we fucking know, right? So where we at? Where we at? Philip the second. That's where we were. Let's do a whole nother. Nah. Let's do it like this, cause this is too easy. Hmm. I want them descriptions of Charles V.
In addition, by a swarthy.
Right. So Charles II was swarthy. Right. We already know. So Charles II and Charles I. Right. Who was Charles I? Charles V. Is Charles I of Spain. Remember, he ruled over Spain. He married Joanna the Mad, right? And we know she was black, right? We know she was black. Let's go get Joanna, because I don't know. I think I known this, but I definitely found that out today. Ooh, where is that at? King Charles, King Charles. I just seen that today. I literally was at the store. I was watching this video. This shit had it. It might be in this one, cause you know I love watching. I love learning about King Charles. I love the Charleses now. King Charles II. There's so many books that show you what King Charles was dark complexion, and we already have King Charles' son. So we know he was called the Black Boy. I gotta figure out what he had an abnormal look. See, it even tells you Charles' striking physical appearance, which was even more foreign than his actually blood. First, he had an abnormal darkness of uh, complexion, a truly Saturnine tint. Hold on, what does that even mean? Saturnine. Slow and gloomy. Oh, no. No. I don't know why the brother don't have that underline. It tells you right here, Saturnine. Dark skinned, dark complexion, swarthy. Having brown or black skin. Come on, man. So we're gonna Saturnine. That's another word. We love when they say this. Later, The sobriquet, which means the black boy, will be used. Still commemorated in English ensigns. Oh, look! It even tells you there was This is what I was looking for. There was definitely a strain of very dark, swarthy Italian blood in the French royal family. Whoa. This says it all. Hell no. Why is this not all underlined, my boy? Because look, this is what I was looking for, actually. I remember because I found it in the definition of swarthy, but I think this is the one where I was like, hold on. It was a source where it confirmed the Italians to be black, like it specifically. There was definitely a very strain. Hold on. Let me get my annotator out for this, shouty. Hold on, shouty. The fuck? Shit up my face. We need the shit that's gonna erase. But it's okay. So, oh man, this doesn't this leaves nothing to chance right here, baby girl. This right here. Oh man, we know what he looked like for a fact. This is King Charles II. And we'll look. So who is King Charles II to King Philip II? Right? Come on, man. So we're gonna draw. We'll highlight Umadici. Yo, shorty, you ready for this? This is a description of King Charles II, right? There was definitely there was definitely a strain of very dark, swarthy Italian blood in the French and royal family. See, that's the thing about, the truth, man, and these sources and doing this research, you know what I mean? So many brothers before have done this research and known this stuff and been diligent as well as white historians sharing this information. I'm sure to where it's compiled, and with the internet, there's a archive of all these sources now to where all you gotta do is just access what these brothers have already found. You don't have to find new books. You just have to find the books that they have found. It's just crazy when you really sit and think about it that all this stuff is, right here. Well, I'm speaking on that to say I don't have to say that I found this, or if I say that I found a book or I ran into something somebody already found. So there was definitely a strain of very dark, swarthy Italian blood. So this author is saying there was definitely a strain of very dark, swarthy Italian blood in the French royal family. Which means what? That they're like, yo, for somebody to be this dark, they already said he had a striking physical appearance that was foreign. So they're like, yo, he was very dark, right? Listen, and they're like, yo, he's so dark that he has to be an Italian. Like it has to be some Italian, right? Very dark, swarthy Italian blood in the French royal family, inherited through Marie de Medici. So the Medicis, which another royal family, which might and did emerge from time to time, right? So they're saying, uh, they're pretty much saying that yeah, they've seen this before. This has to be in the bloodline because from time to time, different children from this family are exhibit certain traits that are prominent in swarthy Italian blood. So we got the Italian blood. So we want to use this source, matter of fact. Um, no. Matter of fact, let's go back up here. The darkness was a subject of the comment from the first. His mother wrote jokingly to her sister-in-law that she had given birth to a black baby, and to a friend in France that he was so dark that she was ashamed of him. So he wasn't just a little, you know what I'm saying? And just for, objectively, just anybody that goes against contrarian or somebody that doesn't believe, oh, he was just tan, or he was darker than them. No. Let's get into it. Like, because you got this whole thing that, oh, these bloodlines are swarthy. They were dark brown hair. Uh they weren't pale, so that's what dark meant, and this and that the third. So black is just a joke, and this, and he wrote jokingly that she again. But let's see how dark. Let's see what they're referring to when she's talking about how dark he is. Like, let's just get the a degree or understanding of what it actually means. You know what I'm saying? So she wrote jokingly to her sister-in-law that she had given birth to a black baby, and to a friend and fans that he was so dark she was ashamed of him. She would send his portrait as soon as, and she told her friend she would soon send his portrait as soon as he is a little fairer. So fairer, we know, means closer to light, like lighter, right? But they obviously got to be black, right? Because how the fuck would he be so okay? Let's just confirm it. She would, but Charles never did become fairer. Later, the sobriquet, the black boy, would be used, still commemorated. Oh, that's just a play on words. Yeah, okay, you said that's a play on words. That's something we hear, right? There was definitely a strain of very dark, swarthy Italian blood in the. It's just so crazy, man, that this stuff exists, man. The Most High is real, because these people are so fucking dumb. They couldn't even get rid of this shit. I would have burned all this shit. You know what I'm saying? I literally would have burned all this shit. That's how you know it's prophecy that, the Most High is not with these people, because you go through all of this, you change the pictures, and then how the fuck do you still have books that just shows you, it was something that they did, and it was rushed. You know what I'm saying? It was rushed. It was had to be something, man, because that's just my take on it. Because how do you forget shit like this? How do you get to destroy books that describe? We have so many books, man, so many coat of arms. How do you not just get rid of it? But that's how arrogant and vain these people were. They're just like, man, fuck it. That's like, you know, I remember when I was staying with my boy Nick, I went in his closet and he had this shirt, man. Oh, it was Burberry, and at the time I didn't know what Burberry was, but it was shirt. It was brand new. It had the tag on it, but it was so clean. I put the shit on out of his closet. I think I took the tag off. I'm not sure. I walk in, he like, yo, that's a fly ass shirt. He like, yo, matter of fact, I think I got that shirt. He go in his closet. Sure enough, I got on his fucking shirt. That was the ignorance of me And that was the ignorance of me not understanding that, you know, if I stole from him, if I took his shirt, he was going to notice. I mean, eventually I was going to let him know it was his shirt, or maybe I wouldn't. Who knows my mind state back then? But I got caught because I underestimated his intelligence, his awareness. So here we go. There was definitely a strain of very dark, swarthy Italian blood in the French royal family, inherited through Marie de Medici. So we know she was black and Italian. She was a black Italian. So that's another source for Marie de Medici. So the Medicis were black or had black intermixture. Let's not assume. Let's not add conjecture. Let's just go with sources. And we'll look up who Antonia Fraser. Once we get all these sources, we'll look up who these people are. But let's just stay objectively. Let's not reach to any conclusions. Let's just go with what we see and what we know from what we see, right? What we know is what it says. What we know is what we see it says. So, which might did emerge from time to time. Anne of Austria, wife of Henrietta, Maria's brother Louis, the 13th, Louis 13. Maybe that's where that comes from. Louis 13. Obviously, that's where it comes from. I'm a young guy. I don't know these type of things. Louis 13. I skipped a lot of history, so it's honestly a blessing that I'm catching this. Louis 13 was said to have given birth. Oh, Anne of Austria. So Queen Anne, right? Wife of Henrietta Maria's brother, Louis the 13th, was said to have given birth to a baby having the color and visage of a blackamoor. And we know what a blackamoor is, but when we do the breakdown, we're going to go get the definition of a blackamoor for the haters, for the naysayers, right? Which died a month after its birth. They're not. So are they saying that this is a deformity or something? No, they're not saying that, because they said from time to time this emerges from the dark, swarthy Italian blood in the French royal family. So we know they're making a comparison in the darkness of Charles to the darkness of the baby of the blackamoor. It's the same convention. It's the same concept, right? Which died a month after his birth. In 1664, another queen of France, wife of Charles's first cousin, Louis, was supposed to have given a birth to a black child. There was even a fanatic fantasy at the time that the popish plot in the 1670s, time of the popish plot in the late 1670s, that Charles had been fathered on Henrietta Maria, had been fathered on Henrietta Marie by a black Scotman. Oh, so this confirms a lot. So we know at this time, right, the Spaniards were mulatto, right? They were light skinned for the most part, or we can't even say for the most part. They were ruddy, right? We know they were ruddy because they were described as ruddy, right? Some described as swarthy, though, to be honest, too. But we're going to get into that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into I've heard a lot of things, I've seen a lot of things, but that's where we get into the evidence and we get into what they really were by the written description, right? Because we got Joanna the Mad and things like that, where we have the description of them. We got Queen Anne and all of them. You know what I'm saying? We have written descriptions of all these people, and that's the thing. That's what's so crazy about history, and I guess that's what surprises me. I guess it don't surprise me now that I'm learning what type of world we in and the era we're in, but definitely the world we in, of just exposing how phony these history degrees are, or these curriculums, because these people love, if you go to any college, they love to romanticize medieval Europe and all the deep writings and, oh, I'm so well read. How come none of these people, all these degrees, right? When we go on Quora and, and all these Q&A websites where people have this 30 years of history, how come none of them ever have any awareness to any references made to works like this that blatantly, not only starting with Charles, getting down to the Italian. We only came here for Charles, right? To get to Charles V. We found the Italians, Charles II, Henrietta Maria, Louis the 13th. Well, uh, let's just get back to it. Black, right? So they were saying that. So they were joking that Charles had been fathered on Henrietta Maria, right, by a black Scotsman. So, or not joking, this was a thing people were saying. They were saying this dude was so dark that he had like on some Maury show, his daddy had to be a black Scotsman. So that's how. Why would they use a black Scotsman? Let's see. A neat that they saying that it's a neat combination of two prejudices. So these people were clearly not very, very dark, usually, right? For this to be abnormal or foreign, right? It tells us he had a foreign look. This is just one source, and we can corroborate it with another source. But the whole point is that this is confirming that these people are black, right? Because how could you come out black? And, well, they tell us that they have black blood, but how could you come out black and nobody's trying to kill anybody? And everything's okay if you aren't black. That's just what I want to know. So-called black, but let's just say blacking is how we use it, right? Dark skin or aboriginal, copper colored. So they're saying the term, like the even the idea that, oh, his daddy must have been a black Scotsman, right, is a neat combination of two prejudices of the time against the Catholics and the Scots. So there were prejudices. What were they prejudiced against, right? The comment was a prejudice comment against a black Scotsman or a Catholic. So it became convenient. It goes. So it became convenient to refer to the then king as that black bastard. So maybe that's where we get the term, you fucking black bastard. Of the many grandchildren of Marie de Medici, Charles was the only one to look purely Italian, the rest being in general both frailer and paler. But his appearance was certainly a complete throwback to his Italian ancestors, the Medici Dukes of Tuscany. So this is a source that confirms a motherfucking lie. There is a striking resemblance in their portraits, right? Bishop Burnet. So we should be able to find that. Burnet is the Scottish-born Bishop of Salisbury. So we already know the Scots are black, but this is how dark the Scots were, and the Italians were, and the Catholics, right? They were all compared. That when Charles II came out, so we know Charles II was black as shit. Well, we already know that because we found Charles Lennox. So Bishop Burnet alluding to Charles' Italianate appearance. So, wow, that's a whole lot. And I'm glad that I found this like this. I was not even looking for this. I was not even looking for this. What do you know? nigga. So let's just keep going, right? Cause ain't no telling what the fuck a nigga gonna see now.
Actual blood. First, he had
Crazy.
all the lineage of
That nigga ain't even read all that. But he has a chronology, chronological, uh, chronology. I've never said that word. So you got darks, brown. So King James, ruddy. Oh, this is why they're saying this, because King James was ready. Queen Anne was ready. We're going to get to Queen Anne. I want to get to Queen Anne. Because remember, King James is the father of Philip II. But this is down the line of the Holy Roman Empire, right? Which is Ireland, England, and Scotland. And so then you got King Charles, right? First, he was married to Henrietta of France. So we know she was dark, right? That Italian blood. King Charles was dark brown. He was swarthy, you know what I'm saying? Or he was just, they called him dark brown, right? And then you get King Charles II, who we know is really dark. King James II, dark. Queen, so if you follow the ancestry, it's not that hard, man. But we want to get King James where it says he's ready. No. We're not even trying to get King. Well, we was trying to get King James. We're trying to get King Philip II of Spain. But King Charles I is Charles V. And I always get confused with that. But so we know there it goes. King Charles the second, who we just read about, his dad is King Charles the fifth, the first and fifth.
see. To the Stuart were the King George line of kingship, which are called the Hanover line. King George I, King George II, King George III, King George IV, all the way up to that line, they were all people of color. They were black. They were of German origin. They were black until they started to commingle with the Saxon line of family in Germany. Then they started to transition to being Caucasian. But the King George line were all dark skinned black. His wife is black, so I get.
So let's go back. So this is daughter.
Every lineage after them, he was black people. Charles II wife.
Oh, his wife.
He
So we got Catherine. But the malicious tale does reveal how Catherine must have appeared to the English small, dark, and very, very foreign, swarthy. She had sticking out teeth, a long nose. Let's just keep reading because You never know what we find. Well, I don't see nothing, but this Antonia Fraser, you fucked. Well, you didn't fuck up. You did a good thing. But this is what I was talking about, where it was saying swarthy and is being of a dark hue or dusky complexion, tawny, and warm climates. The complexion of men is universally swarthy, right? Warm climates or black, swarthy or black. So swarthy means black. We already know. The Moors, the Spaniards, and Italians are more swarthy than the French, German, and English. That's key, right? That's key. Black as the swarthy African.
A black person.
A tawny.
Catherine again being described in King Charles II by Arthur Bryant.
King Charles' wife, Catherine of Portugal. She was short, pretty, and dark. Right here, right up here. Let me see if it says anything else. Nope. Wow, King Charles II got beheaded. See, that's the thing when you get into history, get into these stories, and this shit get crazy. Fuck a power, fuck a yada yada. That's why these they got these fake pictures. You gotta look at when this shit was published. 1877. That's when they. By that time, you had the whites in power and shit like that. He talking all that bullshit at the end, but good sources. So, we know Charles II's mother was black. We know Charles the First. I'm still getting confused on this Charles the First, Charles the Second shit. So Charles the Fifth is you know what's so crazy? I always get Charles the I always get Charles the Fifth mixed up with King James for some fucking reason. But literally, uh, we just proved that. Um. So let's get back to King Philip. We keep getting away from him. King Philip, son of Charles V. So we know for a fact. Let's just go. Where's his family at, man? But this is the man Charles V that started the slave trade. You know what I mean? So don't blame the white man. The man wasn't no white man. Okay, so that's where it makes sense, right? Is why does Charles V matter? Because he's literally the father of Philip II, right? Charles V was the king of Spain as well, because his father was who? Actually, his father, I think, was Philip the First. Yeah, his father was Philip the First, right? And his grandfather was Maximilian, right? And his mother was Joanna the Mad. We just learned about that earlier today. Not just learned that that was his mother. I mean, yeah, we learned that before, but it really set in because I need to find that video about Joanna, the Queen Joanna the Mad. Where is it? I think I was watching. Oh yeah, I was watching about Black Queen Anne. It's all one source, you know what I mean? This guy got a lot of shit, but we got a whole lot of shit. But that just shows you deep diving.
Do you not know?
Crazy talking nigga. You find so much stuff when if you just line up all the resources, really line them up all together, and you do your research, you do your due diligence and cross-reference, it's not that hard to paint a picture. You know what I'm saying? If you're gifted enough to see these things and you're diligent enough to have this kind of focus. Like my shorty, she don't have this kind of focus, you know. She can't even listen to me find this stuff. But it's okay. Then we're going to also get into who these guys are. And so the book John Mackey, we're going to, so anytime we use somebody's book, we're going to figure out who the author of that book and validate the source. So John Mackey, and tie it off to those. So John Mackey, the spy, right, that we've been tapping in with, he sent how you want to call it? He sent slaves. I mean, no. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. She sent Queen Anne sent spies to spy on King Charles and them. So hold on.
Kings and queens are people of color without question. Here is the work that was done to provide that evidence. This Queen Anne, 1714, her rule ended, and then King George, Benjamin Franklin spoke, her grandfather, but we're not going to sing a nation. He's
the Palatines, that's what it was. The Palatines, right? Were swarthy. Right? It says the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion, are also the Germans. All of Africa is black or tawny. So these are all words, you know. This is by Benjamin Franklin, his damn self. I'm trying to figure out what's the first piece of information where I literally knew, oh shit, it was this and it was something else. But yeah, the Palatine. And this is how they try to hide this stuff, because if you look up Palatine, it's damn near like they don't even want you to know who these people are. No, we're talking about the Germans. Come on now. German Palatines, exactly. You see, it's not even the main thing that pops up. England found itself hosting thousands of Germans who were fleeing famine, war, and religious persecution in their native lands. Many of the first arrivals came from the Palatinate, a historical region of Germany. It was known as the Rhenish Palatinate. So we already know that's where the Jews came from. They had been displaced by the French invasion during the 9 Years and Spanish Succession War. This Spanish Succession, the death of Charles II of Spain, led to a struggle. So we know that Oliver Cromwell beheaded Charles II. Damn, man, I was just liking Charles. So you get to learn these motherfuckers. You got you feel away. You know, you feel away. I feel away. Come on, man. Fake. Look at all this fake shit, man. Queen Anne. No, we don't want to learn about that right now.
very black woman with that would not know who they are, but we're going to call his movement the J. Went to the Isles of America, United States of America, and the Caribbean. You were there.
Oh wow, this is big. So I didn't even peep this, but look, that's why you have to know history. So look, it tells you in Acts that certain people of the Druids, right? The Druids or the Celts, the Britons, the Scots, came unto Paul privately and showed their rights. Wow, that's big. I've read about that before, you know, but I never really knew what it meant. I knew what it alluded to, but Wow, that's how we know this. And it even tells you here in Acts 2:29 too. These are always referenced. For you had heard that in Phoenicia, right? That certain of the wow, this is groundbreaking for me. As spoken by the prophet Esdras. So that's how we know the book of Esdras is real because Acts 29. Come on, man.
Not gonna stop. We're gonna keep going. The Caribbean.
Look. Wow. What the hell? I never knew this was in there. This is how we know that they escaped to Britain. I'm like, is that in the book of Esdras? But this is confirmed, for he had heard in Phoenicia that the certain, or these the books that's taken out, the 29th chapter taken out of the modern Bible? I think so. I've heard about that. For he had heard in Phoenicia the certain that certain of the children of Israel about the time of the Assyrian captivity had escaped to the this confirms it. Oh man. Sometimes I see a lot of this stuff separately by myself, but I don't like to take just sources, but you got to start looking into this stuff, man. Had escaped by the sea to the isles afar, as spoken be the prophet Esdras, and called by the Romans Britain. Wow, so children of Israel escaped to the British Isles. This is in the Bible. And it came to pass that certain of the Druids, right, we'll go into who the Druids are, came unto Paul privately and showed by their rites and ceremonies they were descended from the Jews. So these are the same Celts, Scots, ancient modern Britons. Oh, wow. So this is official. Wow. They were descended from the Jews which escaped from the bondage in the land of Egypt. Wow.
You were there. This movement that has caused it. Queen in England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, the Irish, the Druids, the Celts, the Black Celts that successful. That was allowed if the Jacobite movement were to be successful.
I need this book too now, because that's where we get to the Jamaicans. A lot of people don't understand why I was going for my boy Leon Rocky, but I mean, come on now. I know a brew when I see
I
it.
deal with that. Jacobite, the move, Aberdeenshire, areas of North England, it was strong there. The movement was in point, Southwest England. The movement
I want to get into.
past.
I want to keep going past this though, because he's dropping some bombs. Stuff I heard, but he's showing it.
Off
Came down to the last answer.
to North America. The fire
I don't want to hear about this.
causing
to find
16.
Joanna the Mad.
A large number of the rebels who had been taken, are they sipping?
I know this. This is the main thing I was gonna get into.
From all this mess,
Deep to get into the transports and the slaves being taken from the Caribbeans and stuff. Maybe not as much now, but that's the main stuff I was gonna get into. But I wanted to paint the narrative to get there, because that's where a lot of us in America come from. Daniel, see, he's using the same thing that I use. Charles Lennox. We know that's not Charles Lennox, that's the page. It tells you he's a tall black man like his father, the king. So we know for a fact, we just confirmed all the way around, Charles II is black. this is his son, George, King George. Wow, I didn't realize this.
You are not of Charles II. Charles,
Then he had another grandson. So we have his sons. Oh,
Duke of St. Albans. He's tall and black.
They're all tall and black.
Dark complexion man doesn't look like that man on the right hand side.
So I gotta go into that book.
And does that man
A black, red-faced man.
come any close?
With a black, tall, thin black man.
Maturin, ambassador to the
Much like a Spaniard. So it's another one that calls a Spaniard a tall black man. So we are killing these motherfucking Spaniards, man. We are the damn Spaniards.
King of Portugal. This is a very important role.
Because remember, the Holy Roman Empire, the people that ruled Germany also ruled Spain. That's what people don't understand. Castile, Joanna of Castile. But yeah, this guy, he knows who all these guys are, or looked into. He was going off on this part. All these dudes, man, were black and brown. Black, man, black, brown. Dark, sanguine. I want to get into. I have another source though for. What's my name? My man Charles the Fifth. But I could have sworn I had one for Joanne, Queen Joanne. Maybe he was just rambling off. He wasn't saying anything, but maybe it was Queen Anne talking about the Palatine. I'm still learning my damn stuff, but this brother, he got. So now once we can describe what swarthy means, every time we see swarthy, we can go in a deep dive to decide, like, what do they mean by swarthy? What do they mean by tawny? What do they mean by ruddy? You know, so we pretty much prove the Moorish Huguenots. Oh, that's who is a Huguenot? I can't remember. I think Marie. I don't know. We'll get into that. The Huguenots. That's another people I gotta dig into and study. Swarthy. So now we know what swarthy means. We already knew what swarthy means, but we're proving it by using historical figures. And now when these comparisons are made of like, oh, these, you know, because when they arrived, there's another source that when they arrived to the Americas, they're like, yo, these niggas look like the damn, they look like the Iberians, which are what, the Spanish. Oh, these niggas look like the Italians. It's like a Santa Jamaican, or, you know, it's just other. Look, this guy got here. Accounts of the American Indians, orders of Charles V, swarthy.
We live in a city now where there's a lot of uncertainty and unfortunately a lot of crime and violence. And it's quite frightening. So I am so grateful to have been introduced to Berna. Absolutely love Berna. I love it more than I had actually anticipated.
This guy has a lot of good sources. That's how I know a lot of this stuff. He has a primary source.
Margarita Island, Cubagua, and all that. in the Garden of the Palms next to the Dutch Governor House in Paramaribo, Suriname. All right.
This when we get into this guy
So in
here,
Suriname.
you know the Native Americans like the back of his fucking hands. Wow. Let's get into Charles V, my man.
Friends. All right, make sure to go back 2-3 years back from there, or 4 years ago. I don't even remember how long ago, but we know that there was so-called black conquistadors, but there was a lot more than they're telling us that they admit, because a lot of these are Negro, black, dark-skinned people, right? Not how what and others. Remember, these were only outwardly
The Moriscos.
Christian or Puritans or
Jews and Muslims in British Columbia. I gotta get into all this. Is in Mexico.
Protestants or Quakers. Was the local population first? The local population. Remember, these were copper-colored people too. Yeah. Indentured servants. Yeah. Complexion. Again.
Look, the Aboriginal people of the Bahamas, the Lucayans, or dark skin race. So we gotta write that down. Lucayans. So once you start, you know what I'm saying? Once you start dividing people up, that's how I got all that European knowledge. Once you start dividing people up by their names and stuff like that, it's easy to get an introduction into that area. You just follow a group and you break stuff down. You start at one group at a time, you know. And you just focus on them, and then everything usually just fits. Well, he talking a lot of shit in this that I'm not trying to get into right now. You know, of course, we got the Aboriginal population, but we got to get to the fact that, you know, we got to get past this narrative that, oh, the Europeans did this. Let's prove who the Europeans are. That's why I stick with that European narrative, is because everybody wants to blame the Europeans, and the narrative is that a bunch of white Europeans did this and that, the third, but come on, man. Where the fuck is my video of? Hold on, I think he had some shit about the swarthy Acadians that I just see. We know the Vikings and all of that. That's I did that in one of my papers. We'll get into that. That stuff is pretty much easy to get, but swarthy American War. The Black Dutch, no, swarthy Acadians.
When I started my business in 2011, I chose Wix, and it was really because the aesthetic that Wix brought.
Cajuns.
It means dark complexion.
The Incas. Their senses are acute, especially that of sight, which they retain. They are moderate in eating, but like all the American nation, they delight in intoxicating drinks. See, these are the Aboriginal Americans. They delight in intoxicating drinks, which have already caused frightful waste of life. To these observations, few describes them as possessing a swarthy and copper color.
Copper color swarthy.
Dark brown.
You already know.
For the Incas.
Okay, we need to get to the Haitians eventually. You know, maybe not.
Really, let's just do it like that. Fuck it. This is how we get so much knowledge in one night. We just stay
Okay, we need to get to the Haitians eventually.
We just dive deep, and if we can't find what we're looking for,
that's why they call conversos. And Moriscos are based on video, great and mixed with indigenous people and created their own kind of people.
I'm not talking about that, Acadia. So he got me fucked up. I'm talking about that. Swarthy King James. Shit. Add it up. When I do these, I like to kind of go in order. You know, cause I'm typing it's hard for me to focus. Chill. To be honest.
A very blessed day, everyone. Greetings to you in the name of the Father, the Creator, the Most High, Allah, Yah, Yod Het Vahuhet, Elohim, God in our mind. Blessed day, everyone. Neophyte DAG bringing you another message. And this message.
Last Hail Mary. Hail Mary like I'm Leon. Knowledge of self. Here we go. What the fuck? The Turks. This guy gets deep, and it's good when it's good when I record these things, because I can mention a large topic. I could just talk and let my mind run. I can mention a numerous topics of things, large number of topics, and know that it's being recorded, and it'll correlate on the playback, you know, because I'm speaking this shit is just tangents, but you know, I can speak on a more vast plethora of things. Carlos of Portugal, he's going to tell you, we're told that Pedro was the king. So a decoy is a person. So he alleges that a lot of these people are decoys in these pics, because that is true though. Come on now, like when I'm thinking about it, these are important people, man. Why wouldn't we have the portraits of the real them if we have the written description? Of course they would just keep them and lie about what they say. So he's alleging that this is Maria II, and I don't doubt that, because why wouldn't, you know, if you have the written, why wouldn't you have these things? And look at all this gold. Come on, man. Like, everybody can't be a Moor, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the Moors don't wear earrings. Like, no. Charles the 15th. What the hell? We get all the way down to Charles the 15th, Prince Oscar, who, when he is king of Sweden, will be the first of that name, is a dark, well-formed man with a dash of Hebrew in his physiognomy. Dark means swarthy. You may see by the black curls of his hair. Oh, so when there's, oh wow, that is a crazy source, because they're even telling you, oh, he's a dark man. Then they're telling you in the same source, dark means swart. Now this dude, he has some sources that kill everything, and that's when you just get in a deep dive. Like, this dude is off the fucking chain. I found so many sources from him. But that just even blew my mind to find something like, we've been finding just having to correlate dark and swarthy. We have people that literally tell you dark means swarthy. Oh, we're not playing no more games, man. This shit is over. Whew. It's a lot. Dark means swarthy. You may see by the black curls of his hair and his olive complexion. So there goes olive, black curls, dark and swarthy in Hebrew, all in one quote from the 1840s from Robert Gordon Latham on Norway, the Norwegians. Yeah, that just kills the game. Prince Bernadotte, second son of Oscar II of Sweden and Norway, resembles his father and his brothers only in his fine physique. His hair, beard, and eyes are black, and his complexion swarthy. So we got Charles the 15th, Master Mason. Oh wow, what a bitch, Master Mason. The word swarthy or swart derives from schwarz, which means to be black men and Negro. So he has other dictionaries which we found as well. Swarthy, black, dark brown, tan colored. So yeah, he lists all his sources, man. So this dude, right? I wasn't even gonna get into this, but this is just a quick thing into this, right? This guy. So this is what I was gonna speak on. It tells us right here: the sitter of the portrait of Charles the 15th is erroneously said to be John Pentino Toxin. However, as usual, there are absolutely no first. So there's people in these pictures that they say, oh, this is this guy. But then when you Google them or you research them, you can't find these guys, right? And it tells you. So he will say, look, it was painted by Augusta such and such in 1859. He was a Swedish. So he goes into the history of the painters, how these portraits are painted, and we have to fact check these things. But, a lot of shit I see, he be on point. He makes some wild claims though, but we're going to address that when it comes to it, because it's not about necessarily proving somebody right or wrong. It's just about presenting the information as it exists. You know what I'm saying? So these are not things that I'm alleging. I'm just showing you what I found and what he's alleging. So what was I saying? It'll be a good Sabbath. I'm gonna sleep good, nigga. Oh, thank God, nigga. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about, but yeah, I'm not trying to prove this nigga right or wrong. I'm just presenting the source and some claims. But look, he says it was painted by Augusta Ekiof. Augusta Amelia Kirna was a Swedish painter. So this is how he's saying, alleging that he found this information. Charles the 15th was king of Sweden and Norway, but in recent times as Charles the 6th or Charles the 4th from 1859. Members of fraternal orders are known for wearing fezzes. Perhaps in no country has Freemasonry been better protected than in Sweden. King Charles the 9th degree. He was actually the 9th Swedish king by that name. The crown prince of Viceroy briefly became regent as crown. So he's going off of as the source. So he just going and looking based on the time period, the description, and who these people may be, based on the garments, the artist, the year, um, and the description of what they might be wearing, and then relating it to other pictures that he finds, I guess. It does have a point. If these people would fake Jesus, they won't stop. See, this is all the way to Sweden and stuff like that. We're not gonna. I don't want to go all the way there.
Logical operation.
You need these things too to show how they fake everything and how the news is faked and how they started using the television and things like that. So we'll address that. So you got stuff on all the Louis. Charles II grandson. Yeah, he got a whole lot of he got everybody right here in this one. He did his thing. Charles V was a swarthy man. That's what I was trying to get. Charles V. He's the guy that confirmed that this was Charles V. That's what I was trying to get to. I want to find his post on Charles V though, because he went in the pool. Oh, look, he says source. The Battle of Pavia. The portrait of Charles was painted by John Muster in 1520. John Muster was the court painter. So this, like I said, he's getting into how he knows, how he comes to find who these people are, how he's asserting that he knows who these people are, and how he can put to find. And we'll read some of his things when we go through him. We're going to address him and his findings on a whole another thing, but he's going to how he knows who these people are or how to find these portraits, you know. This is what he's alleging. Jane Moster was the court painter for Margaret of Austria, the aunt of Charles V. Margaret of Austria commissioned him to paint portraits of the principal members of the imperial court. This panel portrait of Charles V, painted by dating approximately and only independent is the earliest and only independent painted portrait of a so-called black man in the Renaissance. So that's how he's claiming he found the painting. The rich clothing worn, the bankroll lottery facilitated the purchase of the panel for 600,000. Wow, so he gets deep into it. I told you I don't have to explain what this dude said. He's going to explain himself. I'm just going to present it as a source and give my objective, stepped away perspective on it. You know, whether I believe it or not, whether I find, you know, that's just the journey we go on. The rich clothing worn by Charles, the gloves, the sword, and the embroidered bag point to the Spanish-Portuguese origins and are evidence of the considerable status he had. The insignia on his hat of Our Lady Hell, south of Brasful, where Burgundy and Habsburg pilgrims journeyed, and they give you a lot of history for you to research. Anytime somebody say this, you go look it up. The sword and the fleur de lis on the embroidered bag are clues that provided more information about his true identity. Philip the Fourth was the great grandson of Charles V. Antrablair, Mancolic complexion. So these are all these figures what we find of the royal house, and I could make a tree eventually, finding the sources of all these people who were black at the time, and the words used to describe them and other people, and how to be correlated to modern American history, or yeah, not modern, but you know what I mean. Atrablair is derived from the Latin atrabilis, meaning black bile. The word melancholy, black bile, the melancholic temperament, the reverse of the former, consists of dry, firm solids accompanied with a swarthy complexion. So that's context for how these things are used. This dude is a real autodidact. Meaning, you know, he studies on his own. He studies pretty good, but his complexion was swarthy and sallow on Philip II. Oh, that's what we're looking for. Philip II. I just skipped over this. We just found Philip II. Philip II. He derived it from his father, Charles V. So we know Philip II skin color should be similar. I think this is the first account we have of Philip II, right? Yeah, it is. I had some other shit on Philip II. I don't know where it was, where I got it from, but maybe this guy, maybe somewhere else. I don't know. But yeah, maybe it was this guy, but Carlos, Prince of. So we know Philip II was melancholic, so dark. He was swarthy and sallow. Carlos was the son of Philip II. Oh, I have that. I'll reference this. Littell's living age. Sallow means tawny, tan, also swart, sallow, dusky, tawny of hue. Tawny is from the French word tanner, which means tan color or brown. Tawny, tan or tawny will be the color of chestnut. So there goes that. So I remember, yeah. This dude was always on point. I borrowed this for a lot of my paper. So we have Charles Richardson, which is another dictionary. So the thing about this guy, he has these dictionaries, you know what I'm saying? I gotta give credit to this dude because I learned a lot from his page and another source. But when I found his shit, he had so many sources, and I just went through them myself when I did my papers and things. So this is how I really confirmed, like, oh wow, this shit is real. Fuck. But tan or tawny will be the color of chestnut. So that was stated in 1855. Portrait of Philip was painted by Diego Velázquez, 1650. He was a Spanish painter, leading artist in the court of King Philip. Philip was commissioned on August 30th. Philip they're talking about Philip the Fourth. Leopold swarthy. So yeah, we know Leopold swarthy with a projecting lower lip. Charles VI swarthy. Like, come on, this shit goes all the way down. So this is all like, come on, bro. And we're gonna get all the I damn near got all these books too, the PDFs and stuff. So that's one thing I can do too. Oh, let me focus on that. Let me calm down. Let me let it come to me what I'm trying to say. Oh, I got all these books too. So when I'm putting out these videos, I'm gonna put out a zip file with all the PDFs. I'm gonna do folders, break everything down by era, person, time period, and it's just gonna be a bunch of folders with primary sources and sources we found, and secondary sources, tertiary sources. So I got a lot of shit I'm gonna do. Lord willing, it'll pay off, But that's how we get this stuff out of here. This is how I contribute. You know what I mean? And the Lord, Lord willing, the Lord will reward me if He sees fit and the way He sees fit. So. Yeah. I'm just imagining, however it could be. We'll just let that be what it be. Just live in this reality. We changing reality, and we're gonna deal with reality. Charles VI, swarthy, of a swarthy complexion, and then the sitter in this paint is a biblical Magi. So yeah, he's going. Yeah, like I said, he gets into it. William the Silent, his eyes, hair, beard, brown complexion, beard of a dark complexion. And like I said, these people couldn't even destroy all of these books, man. They were so crazy. Oh, Frederick William of Prussia. I wanted to get to the Prussians too, and I knew I was gonna get to him, but I have to make that collect. Napoleon, we got Napoleon too. Like I said, man, King Charles II, tall, and was in the popular language of the day, a tall black man. Oh yeah, and that's one of the first sources I found too, Charles II. But now I really know who Charles II is, and as far as history. We got John Mackey, of course. Oh, his grandson, his son. All his sons are black. So and so when they say, that's how he finds it. So he's like, look, they're telling you these people who painted, like they tell you, okay, look, Carl van Mander was painted this portrait, yada yada, right, of a Moor, right? Which, why are they just painting Moors? But then they go and find, no, this wasn't just a painter of the day. This guy was in the court for Christian the Fourth. And so once they know that these people are in the royal court, they're like, nah, they're not just sitting around painting random people. They're going to paint the king and his people. That's just that simple. That makes sense to me. Prince Rupert, cousin of Charles II. Napoleon, a swarthy black complexion, according to studies based on DNA. He belonged to Y DNA haplogroup E1B1C1 EM34. This is rare in Europe, has the highest concentration in Ethiopia and Somalia. The portrait of Napoleon is now titled Head of a Negro. It was painted by, so here he goes into his exploration and the origin of his exploration and how he began to find that this portrait was Napoleon. And we'll look at the portraits in a second. The portrait is now titled The Head of a Negro. It was painted by Jean Jean Antoine Gros in 1797. He was a French painter. When anti-French rioting made his stay there unsafe, he led a migratory life in northern Italy, painting portraits for a living. In 1979, he encountered Josephine Bonaparte in Genoa. So he has the stories and everything of the years, you know. So it tells you, okay, 1797. That just so happened, and we can look into his stories, you know, to make sure he's telling the truth or not. But you know, that's the thing, you know. You'd be surprised with what a lot of these brothers find. He was pleased with the handsome young artist. She took him to Milan to introduce him to her husband and engaged in Victoria's campaign against Austria. Gross became a member of his court. So he and with Josephine's help, persuaded Napoleon to sit for this portrait. Francis II, swarthy, withered faced. So this goes all the way up to all the people we find in Louis Louis the 14th. His skin was black as ink, swarthy complexion. Well, we already learned about the black French, right? And the black Italians. Louis 14th, also had a daughter who is not acknowledged. There was a nun in the Abbé de Moray who was supposed to be his daughter. She was extremely swarthy and otherwise resembled him. So he was extremely swarthy. These are all different sources, and we will go get the books. We will have a library. You know what I'm saying? We will rock you. I might have to get back to my speaking French. Comment t'appelles-tu? You know what I'm saying? Je m'appelle. Je t'aime. You know, I went to a school, man, they had me speaking French for a little bit, man, playing the viola, everything, man. Then I went to fucking Japan, fucking Dodge. Louis the 15th was the handsomest youth in France. He had a swarthy complexion. And then here he goes in the I don't know how to. Hyacinthe Breguet was a French Baroque painter, most famous for his portraits of Louis, and then, you know, this painted in 1679. So yeah, I agree. These niggas, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? These guys ain't running around just painting anybody if they're in a royal court. You know, just like today, if you got people that make shoes or do paintings, they don't do work for the poor and things like that, and they don't just paint shit. You know, they're working for people of high esteem. That goes on today. I'll show that when I have a chance to give an example. The portrait of Louis the 15th is now titled Portrait of a Young Negro, of course. It was painted by Maurice Quentin de la Tour in 1751. In 1750, Maurice Quentin de la Tour became the official court painter for Louis the 15th. Okay, and then it just keeps going. But if you look, oh wow, he has a lot of names, man. He put a name to a face. There goes Maximilian. We read about Maximilian, right? Frederick the Wise, John the Magnanimous, Ferdinand the First, Charles the Fifth. I don't know, but this is Leopold, I think. Frederick William, Frederick the Great. Wow, we gotta save this and go over these images and how he alleged to find these people. So that way, that's what I'm saying. I don't. This is good to do this way to show people how to find, because I don't have to attach myself and say that I know that these are these people and I found these people and this and that the third. But I also don't have to just send you to a brother's page with no explanation. You know what I'm saying? And let you doubt these things, because now I can provide my other sources and say, hey, look, a lot of the shit, I found some shit just like what he said, and there's other people, and I can combine all these. And then when I give you this source, you can look at it objectively. Yeah, there goes Queen Marie. Louis Napoleon. Yeah, that's definitely the same dude right here. Yep, that is the same dude. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of these niggas is on point, because if his stories is on point, you know what I mean? And he found the painter, and they were in the royal court, and it lines up with the timeline. This adds a lot of cooperation right there. Charles right here. Leopold right there, I think. Yeah, great post. Great post. Absolutely great post. A lot of shit in here. This is gonna be a good little Zoom. Oh, they're trying to do me like that. See, Marie Antoinette. And like I say, it was painted by so now I'm starting to learn how he finding this shit. Jean. No, let's find Joanna, because I want to find that, because I know for a fact he knows something about that. And a lot of these guys, they got to give credit to who showed them this shit too. So, you could use them as a source, and we can have more of a community than just a bunch of these guys. Napoleon the Third. There goes Napoleon. And then we're gonna read all the things these people allege and say. The original name of Tokyo was Edo. We gonna get into that. They're not ready for that. They're definitely not ready for that. There he goes with Alexander the Macedonian. See, I told you he'll say some crazy shit. But he gets into genetics and stuff like that. Like, I mean, if we want to get into genetics about and that's where these people get off, is the albinos and this and that. I mean, the Bible tells you that this man Alexander the Great is Amalek, and that'll be perfect to segue and introduce and show you where I differ, where I have different knowledge, or why I believe what I believe. And so, but it tells you this guy's an Amalekite. I think we'll get into that. I can't remember, but he's a descendant of a damn Edomite, the Macedonians. He's a descendant of a Macedonian that is Amalekite. Then he gets into him and another brother. They get into genetics. I'm gonna start getting into that stuff too. Why not? You know, we're not gonna get too crazy into it, but Southeast Asians. Where's my Southeast Asians? Telling my mom about that. Southeast Asians, the negritos. I don't want that though. I want Joanna. I want Joanna. Yeah. Oh yeah, so-called black surnames too. That's a good one. Macbeth. If that Macbeth is out, I'm finna watch that. Then he got the book too. Yes, sir. I need that. The surnames. Yep, I need all the surname books. Douglas's, all of that. I need everything. Yup. Yeah, we got all of this. The Irish Caribbean. Yeah, we know about them. Oh, so this is James France Edward. I always call him Leopold. Get him mixed up. John Stewart. Charles II. Do they have Philip II's mom? Oh, there goes all the names. Sorry, once I make my little Facebook or sign in. Maria Ann Leopold. No, I want Joanne Leopold. The only part of the skeleton. So they have Leopold skeleton. So when you know a lot of this stuff too, you don't have to know it as fact. You know what I'm saying? You just have to know the data that is acquired to be able to share it. This is what you'll have to know to be able to show people these type of things and get them to believe it, you know? Skull things and then be able to, hey, there goes Philip. Philip the Fourth. Morisco. No. See, look, it tells you, look, only, see, look, only, it tells you this, only aristocratic, he says it himself, and I'm glad this all be recorded, only aristocratic and upper class families could afford commissioned portraits. The subject must be notable if a portrait was commissioned. Exactly. We don't just have random pics of people. Everybody in the pics are always dressed up and decked out. He gets into it. It was painted by Diego. Nice. Diego must have been part of the John. So he was a king of Spain, and his brother was king, or his dad. What was that? His dad, king of Portugal. Charles the Fifth. Charles the Fifth. Charles the Fifth. Charles the Fifth. So yeah, we're gonna use right here. Charles the Fifth was a swarthy man, and Philip the Second, and Carlos. So we got proof that all of these niggas, and we got dictionaries from different places. Yeah, this is the crazy one right here. Frederick the Wise. When they x-rayed it, it was a fucking nigga underneath. So that was Frederick the Wise. Wow. So Frederick the Wise, and John of Saxon. These are the Saxons. So we have paintings of the Saxons allegedly. Oh, this nigga was taken prisoner by Charles V. Oh, I can't wait to learn about that shit. Really, all I gotta do is read up on this. I can read from the. See, once you confirm with the bruise, say we read from the bruise, and then we can read everywhere else. You know, that's just how we do. That's how you can do. Maximilian. This is the this is the grandfather of Charles V. See them black features, man. This Beethoven. Beethoven, you know, they already told us he was swarthy. Or brown faced. I seen something that said Beethoven was swarthy or something. I'm sure maybe somebody else. Casanova. I can't wait to get into this, man. Oh, the Pelagasian and Etruscans, the Phoenicians. Oh yeah, I cannot wait. Oh, everything I'm looking for. That man got. I see. In my mind, I was like, yo, when I go through his page, it's gonna take a lot of work because he got a lot of sources and I gotta do a lot of reading. But I've been doing so much reading and shit. I'm telling you, reading is the key to unlock knowledge of the world. So we got the Pelagasians, right? And so that's where we get to the Canaanites or the Phoenicians and the Etruscans and the Phoenicians and the Hebrew. The Romans are also known as the Latins. They're originally from the branch of the Hamitic stock. So there goes Hamitic, that goes the Bible using as a source. And all I gotta do, that's so crazy because I had all this stuff written down and I had it all ready to be presented. But it looks like all I'm gonna have to do is present my sources now. Find the sources. The brothers find. God will reward you if you seek knowledge. All that stuff I never really find. I get a tip and I seek. And then I find some stuff. Like what I found today. Doing my own reading, you know, but these brothers already in the Most High already put it in front of me, you know, so. More sources, more sources, more sources. We're finding sources. And we got the evidence of us finding sources. Y'all seeing how I'm finding this stuff. I'm not making this shit up. The Greeks. Right? So we got more of the Greeks. We got the Carthaginians, the Phoenicians, the Canaanites. Hannibal was a Canaanite or Sidonian. We want to know all these names because we want to go all the way back to the Phoenicians and the Etruscans and all of that, because that's the ancient area of the world. That's the ancient world of people being aboriginal and how we get to where we get now. So the real Egyptians, the men of Egypt, were skinny. So yeah, man, the Tamil people, huh? Didn't I see that somewhere? I know I seen it because I know for a fact. The Egyptians, though healthy and large, were clumsy in their form. Yeah, they are. Woolly hair, flat nose, thick-lipped, and if not absolutely black, were very near in color. Of course. The ancient hieroglyph for black Egyptians, Egypt, were the same Kemet. I thought I just seen some with the Tamil tribe. Maybe my mind is just adding knowledge that I know. Oh, the Celts. Short ass niggas. Yep, a lot of shit here. Then you got artifacts basically of the Hamites or Kushites, should I say. Yup. Then you got Nimrod, Moloch. So you said the amalgamation of the horn god begets. So this guy obviously watched a lot of Chronicles because he just quoted Chronicles. Literally. Yeah, so this brother, he claimed like he know what we on. Who knows, man? Nimrod, Chronos. So he teaching about Nimrod. Hey, trust me, that's gonna be we getting there, brother. Trust me, brother. We gonna get there, but they not ready for that yet. Yup. And then, of course, that's when we start getting into real history, and that's biblical history. And that's what we're trying to get people. We want to get people to hear where he first Jewish Joseph is, man. He's still doing shit on Nimrod. Uh, Bacchus the Greek son. Wow, so that's how we know who these people are too. I mean that these people worship this person because we got historical writers. Buddha is Kush. So we're gonna use all of this, but we gonna have to put this in a whole different order because people ain't ready for this. We want to hit them with the objective. Ooh, he got their cans. That brother been on point. Everything I forgot. Isabella of Portugal. Years war. So that's what I wanted to get into with this. Come on, man. We want. I want yo Anna. Wow, they got a black man with these damn white slaves. Abraham Lincoln, of course. The Republicans. Yep. We'll get into all of this. So we got a lot of good stuff, man. wrap it up here. And figure out what we gonna take off. He got a lot of that English shit for me that I want. Oh, look, the Royal House is sent over England to Uganda. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. Wow. Victoria, yeah, one of the brothers claimed some stuff about Queen Victoria being black. King George III. Wow, so we got King George III's portrait. I knew this dude had a lot of the portraits. That's why I was going to come to him last after we found out all of this stuff in the book. But George II. Ha ha ha. George II and King George III. And he knows because he'll know the garments and stuff. So, like, found a lot of this stuff, man. King George II. Yes, sir. So we're going to add this to my series on King George II. Oh, this is all going to go with everything. Now that I think about it, but King George II. Yep. Go with the physical descriptions, and then we'll be unbiased and we'll be objectively stating how we found this information and how this guy is alleging to purport the conclusion that these are the people he found and the process he found due to the process of tracing the portraits. Has nothing to do with me. He got a lot of good shit on here. And he gets into the giant, American gods. We're gonna get into that. And then he says this is Andrew Jackson, so we definitely gonna have to take a look, this stuff. And then same guy, man, he said this was not Hitler, this was Hitler. So we'll see. But you got Chronicles who says Hitler was a child of the Rothschild. What the fuck does the Pope have on his? Yeah, we're gonna show that too, as far as demonizing the Catholic Church, and they try to demonize the Bible. But Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson. Oh yeah, and that's gonna go into the American, the 1800s and shit like that. Yep. The Black Russians. And then he also said there's no such thing as Frederick Douglass and that this is Rutherford B. Hayes. So we'll get into that, and that'll be it, man. You got a lot of these presidents, man. Every single one of these. And then he has a story behind all of it too, so. Frederick the Seventh. So we gotta find Joanna, man, because we gotta figure out how Philip II got so damn light. But that'll be another day, another search. and got a lot of American shit, got a lot of English shit, and he said this motherfucker got a lot of conjecture at best. You do got a lot of conjecture, but I mean, yep. Yep, that's it, man. A lot of shit. We'll review, we'll watch tonight. We'll get back to it. I'll at you, Bizoy.